Welcome to the Breve Music Podcast. I'm your host, Jermaine Harris. In this episode, I'll be discussing the fundamentals of music marketing. Let's start with the most important thing, your brand. Before you can grow to millions of fans around the world, you need to have a brand identity. Whether it's your artist name or a band name or some mix of the two, you'll need to have something that's identifiable that people can recognize you by. Ideally, you choose a name that's unique but also memorable. You'll also want to consider what type of music you're planning to release. You may want to choose a name that doesn't pigeonhole you into one specific genre unless you know for sure you want to stick with that genre. So once you have an artist name or band name, it's time to buy a web domain that's related to it. You'll also need to set up a couple of landing pages. If you're planning to do any touring, you should have links to buy tickets on your website. And if you have any merchandise like t-shirts and physical CDs, that you can buy online, you'll also want to set that up on your website. You may also want to set up an email list so that people can receive latest updates about your show, new merch, or new releases, or things like that. So those are just a few ways that you can establish your digital footprint. But one of the most important parts is for you to create your social media profiles on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter. Those are the 5 biggest platforms you'll want to use. When you're first starting out, you may want to prioritize just a couple of those sites. I highly recommend using at least YouTube, maybe Instagram or TikTok, whichever one you prefer, based off of your demographic. Of course, you'll want to release your music on streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Music to maximize your possible listener base. A lot of people these days are looking to go viral on TikTok or Instagram. It's definitely possible, but I think you should focus on your brand identity and figure out what kind of music and messaging you want to put out into the world. If you prioritize your identity and the kind of content you want to create, naturally, you'll be able to improve, assuming you're aiming to get better, and you're going to see more success and more followers if you're putting out better work over time. It may not be easy to decide what path you want to take whenever you're first starting, but you should make a list for yourself or your band, if you're starting a band, that describes how often you want to post to social media and how you want to phrase things in your posts. You'll want to talk about how often you want to release music and record music. It sounds kind of simple, but understanding what message you want to share with people is extremely important because it gives you something to focus on. Building up your fan base takes time. It can take a few years, and that's okay because you can spend that time refining your voice and improving your craft. So that was an introduction to music marketing. I am planning to make more in-depth episodes about how to be an effective music marketer. So stay tuned for more episodes just like this.